So, I was asked online to do a video repairing the bridge in the middle of the large area in Dwarrowdelf. So, if this is not an area you've been to, this is a gigantic spoiler. So, this is the bridge. I've cleared both ends. I did put up walls. The reason I put up walls is a defense against the raids, because quite honestly they are annoying. I can tell you that I've already tried filming this once. I've done this a few times. It does not always work. It can be incredibly frustrating. You will lose a bunch of materials because they'll fall down into the ravine if you have to destroy something, and that's just the way it is. So if you're not willing to lose some, then please don't try this. Now, where are the dots? I don't see the dots. That's a little odd. I don't know what the deal is with that, but if you can't see the dots, this is certainly not possible to do. The dots I'm referring to are the ones on the ground, by the way. Alright, let's see if that fixes it. Otherwise, I'll probably have to restart and reload. Alright, there's the dots. Alright. You want to line up the dots with the center of the block to try to get some semblance of a reference. Seem to be fighting with my mouse right at the moment. Alright, you want to get this as level as you can, slightly raised to the top, not huge, and those dots right in the center of the block. That's the way I would recommend it. Then the same technique I've been using this whole time applies. You are going to hit orange, whether you like it or not. It will happen. I would come back in and put some I don't know if this helps or not. It seems to a little bit. So you're like, wow, that's a lot of resources, John. I think these are, what, 3 a pop. That may be, but I go for long-term stable, don't have to mess with it, and don't have to constantly rebuild it. Trying to keep the same pattern. That one will probably fall. Yep. That's normal. That one's red. Oops. This is truly stress testing this technique, and quite honestly every other technique I've ever seen. We really need to see if any of these are still doable. I think that one's still okay. That looks red. Ooh, didn't fall into the abyss. That's good. That, for some reason, doesn't want to stay. Alright, now we got to walk across town. It just so happens every time I've done this, or almost every time, I get attacked. Even though the town here is gone, it just seems like you start to repair this bridge and they will come and attack them, just in the by and by. That's why I put up the walls for a little bit of a defense. Because if the hearth gets destroyed while you were doing this, it's over. You've got to restart. Might I recommend you save your game before you attempt this. It's the easiest way to reset and maintain all of your materials. So save your game. I zip it all up in a file, name it, date it.
And now she wants Moria for herself, no matter the destruction. She must be stopped.
Clear the areas, get everything prepped.
We got orcs.
Oh, we got orcs. Yay. Alright.
Perfect.
Now, we should see the same dots, right? Because they're from the same forge, or hearth. I try to line them up the exact same way. It does not always work. I mean, if and this area over here is definitely damaged a lot worse than the other side. I might have put that a little too low, I'm not sure. That, oh, did I put that too far over? I did. Now I'm going to lose a bunch of materials. not quite perfect alignment. I've never achieved perfect alignment. It's pretty much a fool's errand. If you get it, it's a guess. I mean, you do need it as close as you can get, though. So I was off in height by a little bit, and distance an even slimmer amount. Connecting the two sides may lead to disruptions. It may work, it may not. I doubt it. Yeah, it's not going to work. Nope. Can I get any more distance? You're going to have to try both directions to see if you can get them to stick. No. Really hoping to get this area a little closer. That gap is a little large. Alright. So you lay in as much of the foundation as you physically can. This gap, I am not happy with this gap. Any little extra you can get, the better off you are. In any direction. Don't fight it, just let it click into place. That one wants to fight. At this point, you just want it to be as sound as possible. A little overlap is not going to harm anything. Alright, let's come back here. Take it where you can get it, folks. You'll notice that that is the distance I was off, but there's no way to really calculate that, unfortunately. If someone knows a tip when you're on both sides calculating that appropriately, please let me know. I mean, it's not big enough you can't walk over it. If it does make you nervous, I've been able to do this before. Nope. Sometimes that works. One day I sat here for like 4 or 5 hours just doing this over and over and over again. It was kind of monotonous, but lining things up over 3 dimensions with a gap is very hard. think is an understatement. Because it's near impossible. This is just going to keep a gap for me, isn't it? Yep. So now the solution here is, if that really bothers you, is to... Oh, I'm about to die. I do that sometimes. I'm not paying attention to eating and dying. I used to rate how engrossed I was in the game by how many deaths I had due to starvation. Not because I didn't have food, just because I wasn't paying attention. Anyway, I just kept loading and reloading and trying again and again and again. Yeah, I thought maybe. Nope. Okay, so this is my 8th attempt, and I finally got it lined up close enough. It's not perfect. There is a gap under the floor, but to be honest, you can see it a little bit here. It's just slightly off, but it was close enough to bridge the gap. And I'll go back here, and you can see that the floor tiles carried straight through. I don't think there's any significant skewed overlap. Now these tiles are overlapped in spots for stability, but they are not skewed. So it looks like one uniform piece. Now, in all fairness, I have done this once before. This is my 8th time trying today. I just paused the video because it was, well, let's just say there were a lot of adult language being thrown around for a little bit there. And I've wasted at least 2.5, 3 hours of my life. But it just suddenly snapped into place, and now that I can see that it's that way, we are good. But it's pretty much getting it as close as possible to getting it to align, and it is very frustrating. It's mostly luck. If anyone knows over 2 different gaps, 2 different distances, how to align things, because that alignment, look, I mean, I don't know if you can see that on the video, but it is extremely close, and it clicked. But any farther off than that, and it closes it close enough. And but once you do, it will complete. Of course, then well, I'll delete all that stuff later. Anyway, so there you go. I didn't bother filming me trying for hours and swearing a lot. I didn't think that would be good for the videos. You never know if a kid's watching this. But let's just say the full New Yorker came out of me and I let it rip. Because it can be frustrating. I think the tolerances on the build system are just a little too tight. If there were a way to... I've seen other games now, watching videos, where they allow you to lay out what you want to do, and then you can fill it in, and it allows you to tweak alignments. And I know that's not the system they put in here, but and probably a different game engine. But something similar where the tolerances don't have to be so tight, and the materials could just be a little vertically and horizontally stronger, and go a little bit higher. I think we'd have a much better build system. Of course, we still need lots of parts and that are missing to rebuild buildings, but also furniture. The whole end game is really rebuilding and establishing Moria and restoring it to its glory, which I like doing, but it's parts of the game like this where, okay, I wasted 2 hours of my life to make a video to show you that it's possible, but yeah, I don't know, it's shouldn't be that hard, I guess is what I'm trying to say. But hey, that's the technique. I forgot to start the recording a little bit earlier. I didn't know I was going to make it until it was basically done, and then I'm like, oh, I forgot to record that. And quite honest, I'll reload 2 or 3 times, and this area here and this area here are likely to disappear, but I'll just be able to I'll put them back. But it's not every time either. And the last time I did this in another game, 1 out of 5, 1 out of 10 reboots resulted in a loss of a tile in a section of floor. It wasn't horrible. I was just happy I could actually get it accomplished. So there you go. I hope you enjoyed one rebuilt bridge. So it's been a couple of days and several dozen log-in and log-outs, and you can see that right on those edges that were a little off, they did fall apart. But the bridge is structurally sound. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just the edges and a few chunks are missing. But I wanted to show you what else I've been doing, is I've been slowly repairing the city, starting with the platform here, which I showed you the other day. Now this platform is new. I'm going to build a building here. Just seemed to be a large, convenient place. I put the stone foundation underneath it for aesthetics. There used to be a mining node here. It's gone. This used to be wooden, and I removed the bulk of the wood, not the very support on the bottom, and put down stone so we could get to these facades. And you can see the chunk out of the side that's missing. I tried to build those towers underneath to see if I could get them to support. Did not quite work out, but I will. I'll show you that in a minute. Maybe with the changes to the system. So there's going to be a building here. Haven't decided what to do. This is the back. There was some work stuff here. Most of this is facade. This is a real building though, which was in pretty good shape actually. You can get up there. There's nothing left up there, but you can get up there with a rope ladder. I just took it down. Some of the building designs are a little odd. They don't seem to be used very much for aesthetics, but that's about it. This roof and this roof are part of buildings that were already here. Some buildings I still don't know what to do with. This one is one, and I'll show you from the other angle. It is, it's a wreck. This one I'm proud of. Other than the wood tiles don't seem to quite fit right. This was a wreck. I put those granite. I forget what they're called. They're granite. They're part of the bottom of the arches. I guess they're granite arch pieces. Built up the towers all the way on the side.
What's the dragon doing here? How would I know? Us mortal wretch, why don't you?
Sometimes I decided, due to the damage, not to repair the walls by replacing them, but overlaying them. And you can see it here. It doesn't look horrible, but it is a lot more stable and a lot less risky than using your steel pickaxe. Remember, don't use your Quarrymaster. Its damage is way too much. Anyway, I did use the steel pickaxe sometimes, but sometimes, like over here, I just decided, well, I'll overlay it, and it'll give it that rough, damaged texture, but repaired, and it is structurally sound. Now, you'll see above, I put down the wood floor, and through the wood floor you can see the remnants of that thin, indestructible wood floor that was here, which is annoying. The fact that it's indestructible and the fact that it's still here is one thing. It's also a different size than the wood floor, so if you try to overlay the wood floor, you get gaps. Or you have to overlay the wood floor, which messes up the bottom of the wood floor quite a bit. Let's see if I can. So some of these, again, I wish I had wood ladders like these. I don't know who would design a living house like this, but it's a little odd. I guess I could put a piece of granite there to fill that in, but sounds like I got orcs. Okay, we hopped up here, and you can see that the floor is uneven. I messed around with it for quite some time, but I wanted to come up here to show you this. This floor was all jagged. It had rocks. It was all rocks, but there were some adamant barriers used as a roofing material to help stabilize the roof. This is one of the areas where, in my game, I learned how they use adamant barriers for structural stability by pushing them into rocks or walls. I could not repair that up there. It just, nothing I could fit in there. It's all red. Not exactly the most useful house in the world, but I did repair it. I don't know why the floor is halfway through the windows, but that's pretty much the design that was here because of the floor, as you can see, is right here. Oof. Okay. But it is repaired. And if you wanted to put something here, it's certainly serviceable. I did add the wooden columns. I don't know if they went there. I don't know if any of this is right in the front here, but it seemed to fit. So. I did create little balconies. This was destroyed. I used adamant below it to support it, and then I put the tile on the top. That leads us back to the way we came. This was that building I didn't know what to do with yet. I kind of just meander through the city, find a building, fix it, find a facade, clean it up. Others, like this building, there's space in it, but there's no way in. And I think it was a facade. I don't know. And then there are other buildings where I'm trying to figure out the construction. Like this building here, like the one I just showed you next to it. There's no way in or out, but there is space.
Someone relayed a warg into my stack.
I don't know if it'd be better to demolish these or just finish the facades. Maybe I could make a real building here in its space. However, I'm worried that if I did that, I wouldn't be able to remove some of the floors and then I'd be stuck. So I'm just leaving this alone for now. By the way, this is one of the columns that you get to assemble on your own. This is a column that is not in the game for us to use. It's a thinner version, probably a granite version of it, which I would like to see. Also, that edging up there is not available. There's a bunch of pieces, parts that I've discovered recently that are not available. Okay, likely you came in to this area via a bridge. You came in, there was an orb. Oh, there's some orcs over there. There is a bridge, it's made out of wood, you had to cross it. Those pieces of wood sticking up through the ground are that bridge. I completely using the adamant method that I've been demonstrating have completely covered it, capped it, though parts of that wood are, well, all the wood, that wood bridge is immovable. It is stable. This has survived a dozen or more reloads.
Wargs. That's a one more for me.
Sorry about that. I hate how they interrupt my videos. Okay, so this is the end of the bridge. And there's nothing you can do about the wood. I've removed all the other wood. There's also nothing you can do about that cage up there. It is indestructible, nor those pieces of wood. All of that is indestructible. I don't know why. It is annoying. But I capped this area. Probably not going to build anything here. I could build something here, but it'd kind of be right in the way. I started to repair this building. Again, if any devs are listening, a nice corner piece without that ugly edge would be wonderful. That's a facade, but a three-dimensional facade. This is where I'm currently working. So you see the hearth. But I repaired this. Again, having to deal with those wooden floors. These aligned a little better. However, that edge right there is not available. It's on the bottom of a piece of wall, but you can't remove it or use it separately. And without it, I can't complete this repair. And there's nothing really we have that size, shape, and height to substitute for, which is disappointing. The rest of this has all been repaired. You see that the floor has been overlaid again. Oh, Yes, horizontal beams. Very, very, very important. Really wish I had the ability to do that. They seem to be used extensively in the buildings and, of course, then extensively for the repair. Please add them to the game, along with that border as well. That thin border. I don't know why oh, by the way, I put in this adamant block by accident on the other side. However, you can't destroy it. I don't know why, but now I can't destroy it. I hit X, I've used a pickaxe. It's weird. Again, all of this is being done without mods other than the stack mod and the pause mod. The stack mod I use to carry around materials because I'm not a masochist for quick travel back and forth continuously forever. But I don't use a structural integrity mod, and I've mentioned this in other videos because I did try it and it does work. However, I'm afraid that as soon as they do a major patch and change the system, all my stuff's going to fall down. That may not happen. Someone can try to convince me otherwise. Anyway, so I got as far as I could with that one, and then I got stuck, and I didn't really understand the roof line. It's similar to another building over on the other side, but not quite. This building is repaired. Now that floor tile is really nice underneath, but it doesn't exist for us to use in the game, which I wouldn't mind seeing. Again, this one's a similar design. This was a window remnant, so I put it back. But now there's no way to get out to this, which is odd. Other than to hop, of course. And I haven't figured out, I had to overlay the floor tiles here in an ugly pattern to get them stable. And I was not pleased with the result. So I have left this one be for now until I figure it out. Like I said, this is the area that I'm currently working in, and just to orient you, this is likely the area you came into Dwarrowdelf with. I usually start by repairing the building before I start operating on it, and except for the pieces that I know I'm going to destroy. And then I clean up the general area, like there was rubble in here. This is a 2-story facade, should be completely closed off, so haven't decided what to do with these yet. The shake roof tiles would be nice too. I guess I don't understand, if the models are in the game for furniture and other things, why they just weren't added. So this is the entry. I haven't finished cleaning it up and taking out the rest of the dirt, but alright, let's go back because I want to show you what I did to the entrance to the lower parts. So obviously, I said before, huge spoilers here. If you've not been to the city, it's going to look a lot different when you first arrive. I did repair this area here, and I tried to put the edge cap on it. It looks okay. Anyway, oh, gotta eat. Spiders. No, one shot would take care of it, I guess not. Alright. You've been through here before a minute ago. I didn't want to cover this up. I actually really like it. But it's a shame that it's not repairable. I did cap over these and build the stairs. Okay, so you're looking up at the bridge and the pillars that I tried to build. And if you're familiar with this area, you'll notice that I built a pad to build a building here. That is true. And I have not worked on that part of the city yet. It's completely untouched. But as you're looking out over here, other than there's a bunch of spiders I have to kill. Doesn't help I don't like spiders. Alright. Again, corner pieces would be nice. You're like, none of this looks right. You're correct. This was a two-tiered open cavern that goes down to the lower area where you can go down into a very rough area to get to the crossroads eventually. So if you look at the map, this is the big area of the city, and this is the area that I'm talking about, and you'll see the various, gate to Durin's highway. I've also labeled things like, the granite room. I found the granite room. In every game that I have played, and I've completed several, obviously, I think this is my sixth, or this is my sixth. There is a couple of rooms of stone where the entire room seems very small, but if you mine it, it is mostly stone. There's one of granite and one of adamant, and they're hard to see sometimes because they blend into the walls, but if you pay attention, the room is nowhere near as big as it should be. And you get a ton of material out of those rooms. Yeah. I also labeled the deep caves so I can get back there. And I dropped stones. There's the Garrod Forge, and this is Durin's Forge. Anyway, this area, to get to it, you have to go down now. And I repaired the stairs, and then I used the barrier technique, and this has survived a dozen reloads, to build out, and you can see the wood I haven't taken care of there in the bottom of the bridge. There's the waterfall. So I decided to try to build the pillars. I hadn't done that in quite a while. Yes, orcs. I have a lack of armor. Give me a second.
That is all you've got?
Alright. So there was a tier here. This is all facade. I like some of the facade here, and we don't have the ability to create that, which is unfortunate. So I was saying earlier, I think before I got distracted by spiders, I don't understand why, if the models are in the game, they just don't add them. This facade I created. So this is completely fake. It is a facade I created up here for aesthetic purposes. Put in the roof line. You can see it just goes to the side. This is above the door to go down into that lower area. This building I repaired. I really like those little tiles. There were smaller, thinner edges, but like that one right there, but they're not available in the game for players, and all but one of them was missing, so I had to replace them with the bigger ones. Again, I sat here for like 40 minutes trying to get those two last granite tiles to line up. Gave up on that. No idea why there are windows against a rock wall, but that's the way they were, so I left them there. Could not embed the wood railing into that, no matter how hard I tried. Just would not go. But I did repair the wood. I also repaired part of the roof. Okay, so this is quite an extensive bridge, but I wanted using those adamant barriers because, like I said, this was a 2-tier pit below me. I started building a house but hit structural integrity issues for no explainable reason whatsoever. I could not complete another floor, so something is calculating that this is too high up in the air and it's just not letting me do it. I haven't figured out what to do here yet, but I thought I'd ponder it. So this was the stairway that I repaired to go down. Now, every once in a while there are drakes that spawn down here, so I was working and I put a grand hearth in here and I put doors in to protect it because they would come and try to destroy it, and that messes up your alignment. This is the bottom of those pillars and the supports that I put in, and you do get a nice view of the waterfall here. And this has survived countless reloads. We were just up there. That's another tier, another balcony. I did use walls where I couldn't get the adamant to stick in the stone. This is another facade that I put in for aesthetics. I was going to put one here, just haven't gotten around to it yet. And this is the room to get into that area. I put a stone here because it's convenient. When my sister's on, she doesn't like building, so when my sister's on, we adventure. And so you can go down in here. The stone's here so we can get back. And you see the work of doing the adamant barricades into the walls and to make this ceiling. The technique is sound. It's just overextending it too far without structural support and the limitations of the system in the game. And I have only determined, not that I've read the code, but I've determined that there is a maximum height that they want you to operate in this game, period. That is about as high as you can get. Structurally, I computed what each one of these things could bear, and that should have worked. But I can't get it high enough. It turns red immediately. There's the stairs that I made. And then, of course, this goes back toward the forward town. These buildings are just falling apart. I'm hoping to get to them relatively soon. Maybe I'll do a little bit today. Alright, there's a quick tour of the repairs in the city, what's possible. I hope you enjoyed this. Again, the bridge is there. It did, I thought, for to be completely blunt, I thought that I should tell you after a few days if some of the pieces, though structurally it's there and structurally you can walk across it, some of the pieces did fall down, which I did experience the last couple of times. You can go put them back and they will last a number of reloads, and then for some unexplained reason they will collapse. And so just be forewarned, there's a little bit of maintenance for doing these type of activities that push the limits of the current system. And any devs out there want to chat about it, just give me a jingle online, and I will definitely be happy to chat with you about my experiences of what works, what doesn't, what looks odd, beyond the bug reports that I've already put in. Thank you very much.